Well, thank you for being with us on this Tuesday. I trust that you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and now we go into the summer season. And I encourage you to have some real goals this summer to serve the Lord, to grow in the Lord, and to take times to really maximize the different schedule that maybe you have or your children have, but to look to the Lord and realize that He is ready to meet with us and do great things if we will just fully give ourselves to Him. And that's what I want to talk about in Romans chapter 10, dealing with Israel. We read in verse 14, and then how shall they then call on Him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in Him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. Israel desperately needed the Lord, as all people do. And it's stated in this passage, a verse that we often quote, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And so the question is, how can they call on someone that they've not believed? And how can they believe if they've really not heard about this message? And the only way they're going to hear is with a preacher. Well, this is speaking not just of full-time servants of the Lord. This is speaking of believers understanding that the only way people are going to be turned away from their sins and their false beliefs and their wrong philosophy of life to the saving faith in the Lord Jesus is for them to hear clearly the gospel given by someone who's trusting upon the Lord to do it, and not to try to convince humanly, but just lay it out there, having prayed and asking God for His love to be able to communicate the message in a very genuine way to the people that they are talking to. And that's what this passage is saying. People can be reached, but they've got to hear the truth. People have got to have the light of God come into their soul. I believe it's far more true than we realize that if we really pray, and especially pray for those that we're going to talk to, and then simply give the gospel, having prayed that Satan will not blind their eyes, but that the light of the truth will come into their lives, I believe that we can have a real confidence that God is going to bring light into their life. They may not accept the Lord at that moment, but there will be a change of thinking that will occur. Every time we witness, God is doing something. And if we will pray, and we'll pray effectively for those who are unsaved, the wonderful reality is that the light will shine because the darkness has been pushed back. And I bring this up as a word of encouragement because we are hearing more and more of the darkness of our day. And we're hearing more and more of people not affiliated with churches. We're hearing of all kind of bizarre beliefs and all of the philosophies of our day that are very concerning. But we need to understand the gospel is still the power of God unto salvation. And if we'll pray before we go out, if we'll pray specifically for people that we care about, and really believe God to push back the darkness of the evil one, we can see God overcome what's going on today. And people that we would be shocked to believe that they could be saved will be saved if we will trust Him. I think our unbelief has caused more damage, and then that leading to disobedience and not going out, than anything that I know of. We just need to get the gospel out. And I want to encourage you, believe God and be one of those preachers that give forth the truth to those that need to hear the gospel.